That's what I like to hear. Let's roll. It means that we're recording, it means that we're moving, and it means that I'm talking to you guys again. Look, this happens to us every year. We draft, we get super excited. I go through all the highs and lows of everyone draft faster because I want to podcast for 17 hours straight, to you guys are all assholes for not drafting fast enough, to I'm never going to podcast again, to I'm back the next night, to hey, after a 3-week sugar high that is the draft, I'm exhausted, so we need to take 2 weeks off. So we're back and we're ready to talk about how much your teams suck. I'm only kind of kidding because did the power ranks and I almost ran out of maybe next year's spots. So I think I do this every year too, where I try and shame people to not tank, but at this point it's probably too late. So yeah, your team sucks, but on the bright side, it doesn't suck as much as Bill's.
It could.
With a little bit more effort. I mean, there was a time where there were owners who said, I'm trying to keep up with Bill in terms of not scoring any points this year. And I think you've beaten them all to submission.
Well, I still have one more to go to make sure I don't score any. But, time will tell on that one.
Yeah. If Anthony Richardson has his way, Daniel Jones will start the entire season.
Yep. I agree.
That's a problem we have to overcome at some point. Yeah. Anyways, as you guys have guessed, the grand return of the podcast required the grand return of a grand podcast guest. And the fact that Bill was available meant that my plea of anyone want to do it live had to result in the podcast. So here we are. We're 2 minutes in. It's 9:00 on a Thursday. And we're just going to go through a live ranking of your teams that the two of us did. This isn't scientific, as you guys know. This doesn't necessarily reflect the broader view of the league. It's Thursday, we're bored, and Jeremy's doing Dungeons and Dragons. So, thus is life. So, any thoughts before we jump in, or grand welcome speeches in your marvelous return to podcasting, or just fun jokes you want to tell us?
Well, Panthers would say that the best joke is that Daniel Jones will start this year. But he knows what's going on in Indy, I assume. No, I'm looking forward to being back. I've been gone for a while. I didn't do anything with the draft coverage, mainly because I didn't have a single reason to be involved in that. And I'm looking forward to this. And if anyone can beat me this year, I welcome them to do so.
My God, the commitment is legendary. One of these days, you will end up with a draft haul similar to Dolphins, but time will tell on that one. Anyways, all 32 teams got ranked. Shockingly, we have Bill was able to make 14 teams in the playoffs. So I could only come up with 12. But we'll see where everyone ranked in the aggregate. So, aggregate tier, not your year. What's fun is nobody made it into the fourth tier. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 5. So either our ranking system is flawed, or we need more rankers, or you know what? Whatever. 11 teams, not your year. Nobody's going to be surprised by any of these. We already talked about your team.
Yep.
You're trying to score no points except for your kicker and your punter.
Yep.
It's an honestly admirable pursuit to have, and I salute your commitment, but at the same time, really, really wish I played the AFC East. I'm sorry, AFC West. Well,
look, it's not that bad. It's a stronger division than people give it credit for. there's just a couple free wins in there.
Yep. I'll be honest. In doing this, I had a hard time figuring out who had an easier path to the playoffs this year. Jets or Goose?
Oh, I don't think Goose has it that easy. I think that if you look at Raiders, Raiders is going to make it a little bit challenging. If all of his players stay healthy, of course, that's always the kicker. But Raiders has been very efficient since taking over. I like his chances. But, Goose's whole season once again relies on New Orleans Saints quarterback. And I don't know what he's going to do if Shuck is not announced as the starter week 1. But, he'll find something.
I didn't quite set a goal, but I should have. That I want to spend less than 15 seconds thinking about the New Orleans Saints quarterback position this year. So what I'm going to do is make this real fast. The only thing I think about the New Orleans Saints quarterback position this year is that it would be hilarious if after all of the hating on Spencer Rattler, if Goose had to go acquire him and pay a premium to make sure he had a starting quarterback. I think that would be hilarious to me. And thus ends the time I will talk about the New Orleans Saints quarterback this year.
That's fair. That's fair.
Anyways, we'll talk about them more in a little bit, but I disagree with you.
Okay.
Cowboys. I'll tell you what. I'm glad he finally started to do something to rebuild the team.
Yeah.
Wasn't easy to move off Micah. It's never easy to trade a stud in this league. You never get back exactly what everyone wants unless that team is obsessed with Jaden Daniels. That said, moved off of a couple of studs this year. Turned those into picks. Rebuilding. Probably not his year in the division. I think he's on the fence potentially because I think some of these players could break out a little bit. And he still has enough points left that it's going to be difficult to fully tank. But the East is probably strong enough that he's probably going to go from on the fence to maybe next year.
Yeah, Cowboys is going to be the NFC's version of the Steelers this year, I think.
Yeah. The NFC East is going to be the NFC's version of the AFC North. And the AFC North is going to be the version of the AFC North that it is every year.
Exactly.
God, the Titans are terrible.
They didn't have to be.
Yeah, they did.
I don't know why he tore it down.
Because he wanted to.
Yeah,
God, he really wanted to.
I mean, I get it. Like, I did the same thing, but he built everything last year. And I don't know. I would have given it one more year.
Look, for as good as the AFC North is in the AFC, the rest of the AFC is so bad that it would have been nice to actually have a team trying to win games this year. But look, Luigi wanted to go for it for 1 year and then get to a rebuild. That was his plan, and he's executing. He's not in as bad shape as you are.
Well, I would say I'm not in bad shape. I'm in intentional shape.
Yeah. You intentionally took a shovel and piled up the shit as high as it could go for you this year.
Yeah.
And Luigi, I'll give him credit, is trying to keep up. Problem is, you started a good 6 weeks ahead of him.
Right.
Your pile of shit's much bigger. But, I mean, he's got enough players that he's still going to score some points. So he's going to be in that, not quite first overall, but we'll see how many teams can keep up with Bill before we get into that tier of a team with a few players scoring 60 points in a week.
Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's actually probably pretty fair. Maybe a little bit more. He might crack 100 every once in a while.
Yeah, he's got Russ, who is probably the starter there.
Yeah. The doubleheaders are not going to be kind to him if Russ starts the season.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Couple of young defensive tackles, a couple of edges, a 220-point safety. By God. Yeah, he's going to score double-digit points a couple of times. Yeah, tanking, but not truly trusting the process the way he does. Go see Sam Hinkie and call me in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I said I want to spend less than 15 seconds talking about the Saints quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the Saints next, but not the real life Saints.
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds was about the real life Saints quarterback. The problem with trying to talk about the Saints quarterback, well, that's Dak.
It is.
Although, apparently Joe Milton has the livest arm in the league, according to podcast hosts across the nation. So Dak Prescott is clearly on the block.
Yeah. I think the Dallas did exactly that. They traded a 5th-round pick for Joe Milton to get rid of their franchise quarterback, only to trade for George Pickens for him not to get thrown the ball again. He is an upgrade over Cooper Rush. I'll give him that. Like, if that goes down again, Joe Milton would be a much more fun and entertaining situation than Cooper Rush.
I really would appreciate, though, if Saints could trade away Garrett Wilson. Not because I'm trying to trade for him back, but because then my joke I made in the offseason that some teams want 3 number ones. Some teams want 6 number 2s. And some teams, like the Saints, want 9 number 3s.
He could definitely get that for sure.
I mean, the defense is there with some nice studs, but needs work, clearly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unfortunate. His division is a little bit rough.
A little bit. It's a lot of it rough. Okay. Your Bill.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about your team. I'm talking about the Bills.
Yeah.
And again, very happy that he participated in many draft podcasts. Very excited that he participated in many draft-related trades. And very excited that he is actively participating in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said during the draft, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, I really hate everybody he took.
Even Milroe? I mean, this is clearly like a build for next year and beyond type of thing. But like Tyler Warren's great. You know,
I mean, Milroe was giving me what's his name, Willis vibes from a couple years ago.
Really?
Well, think about it. He was a quarterback. We all thought, due to the school he played for and physical gifts, was going to find his way into the first round.
Mm.
He did not.
Right.
I believe both fell to the 3rd round. Both were looked at as developmental pieces. Neither made it on their first team.
That's fair.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I would love for Jalen Milroe to turn into Hurts 2.0.
Okay.
I just look. You got to get by Sam and Sam first. You have Sam I Am and I Am Sam as QB1 and QB2.
I think he's past one of them already.
I mean, is he?
I would certainly hope so. If he starts the season as emergency QB3, that says a lot. And I'm a Sam Howell fan, but man, if Milroe can't beat out Sam Howell at this point, that's not great.
Well,
but
like I said, I like the receivers.
Yeah,
Really
Noel's
like
awesome.
Elick, like Noel. Warren should be nice with time.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if that was the right pick over Loveland. But I don't know.
It's going to visit somebody's house and complimenting them on their TV. Hey, that's really nice TV. How much you pay for it? Yeah, rude question, but stick with me. Be expecting $700-800. They come out $12,000.
Yeah,
Sorry, what?
fair enough. Fair enough.
That's the issue I have with Bill,
I
the
get it.
Bills.
No, I mean he's doing what he does. He's building up his defense, keeping it cheap. You know, like this is not bad. This is just like 1 year out at best, 2 years out more than likely. And
So
that depends on what he does with his drafting.
I know pre-draft, I started talking about this team is probably owned by the real most interesting man in the world. So he has many better things to do than tend to a GM's team.
Okay.
And look, I'm proud of him for that. We should have better things to do than to spend the amount of time we spend tending to GM's teams.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, can this be the year that you finally give up on trying to chase a wild card and actively try and rebuild? I know I said we've got too many teams trying to rebuild, but man, you turned into the goddamn Charlotte Hornets. You're doing everything you can, and you got some really nice pieces that should be able to do something for you if you surround them with the right stuff, but just it's not enough. So please, for my health, and it doesn't have to be to me, can you please trade Nico Collins and Aiden Hutchinson? Invest the value from that either into draft picks, injured players, young rookies, whatever. And give next year a fair crack. You're getting your picks back. I don't think you've traded any of those yet for next year. So that's a good sign. But let's do everything else that goes with giving this a fair shake. Can we? What do you think, Bill?
I get it. I definitely understand what you're saying. The problem with 49ers is that he is probably never going to be better than the wild card in that division until the players on the Seahawks just totally fall off. The deals he's done over the last 2 years and the drafts that he's had over the last 2 years keep him very strong for a very long time. Now, that strength is literally just enough to win the division, but that division could turn into the AFC North and just battle it out and just bruise each other. And the Niners is definitely the team that needs to do that most. But I don't know. He's held up on Nico Collins with the Michigan fandom. Same thing with Aiden. But I don't know. I mean, his biggest issue right now is that he does not have a starting quarterback, and he has to find a way to unload that Kirk Cousins contract. I mean, to make any moves, he's got to unload that contract.
Well, the problem is there's plenty of rumors, and justifiably so, Cousins might be a starting quarterback.
Better not be in Pittsburgh.
That's what, you know.
I don't want either one.
Where he was going to be a starting quarterback, you guys are probably deleting the betting this year.
I don't want either one. Just play Mason Rudolph and go for the 101 while the draft is in Pittsburgh. Just let it happen.
That would be quite hilarious to see Mike Tomlin get his first ever losing season when the Steelers get the 101 and take Arch Manning, only for Arthur Smith to pull a bunch of headed screens for him.
Dude, I think that I don't think the Mannings would stop Arch from going to Pittsburgh. I think they would force Pittsburgh to fire the OC. Man, that would be the ultimate, to see Pittsburgh get the 101, whether it be a trade or earning it, and take their quarterback of the future in Pittsburgh. That'd be so awesome. But we'll see how that goes. That's jumping way ahead. But yeah, 49ers is strong. It's really unfortunate that he just cannot do enough. And he should be a playoff team, but the NFC is stacked.
We're really good.
Yep.
These next couple of teams are not really good. I really wish this team was, because I really like when active owners have good things happen to them. I really want some of these players to hit for Patriots. I think you've got the foundation of something, but this is the equivalent of taking $20, going to the local store and getting $20 of scratch offs. You're probably going to make $6 back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't help whenever you don't have a running back or a tight end. And yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Like I said, I appreciate the fact that Pat gets creative every year.
Mm-hmm.
If he's got his picks for next year, he's going to try and lock in top 8 value for his pick before he trades it. Or at least he should. Not saying you're going to be a top 8 pick next year.
He does not have 26 picks at all. He only has 27 picks.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, which is what he's gunning for. He's going for either Arch or for Jeremiah. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. His plans change so quickly every year.
It's if you put it into ChatGPT,
mm-hmm.
I need you to make me a fantasy team of players under 26 that have draft capital and could break out,
mm-hmm.
but aren't on anyone else's team yet, or are acquirable for less than what they were drafted for.
Mm-hmm.
It would spit back out the Jets. It would spit back out
the Pats. It's not necessarily a wrong statement. It's just funny.
So I'm going to need you to tell me again.
Yeah.
Your team is not good this year.
Says who? No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
The Chargers are not built to be good this year.
They're better than me.
Yeah. It's Bryce Young, Brian Thomas Jr., and Rashee Rice. Assuming they don't try and shoot somebody between now and 3 months from now, should probably score points.
Yep.
And then there's some defensive pieces to build around too. But
yeah,
we know these guys aren't ready. They're not trying to be ready. So I hopefully think nobody's taking any of this as an insult, because you should know what you're doing with your team. And if you disagree, then nothing I have to say matters anyway. So whatever.
I'm not gonna lie though. Dolphins had a killer draft.
We'll talk about them in a little bit.
Okay.
Chargers invested before instead of in picks in,
He bought vets.
Well, young players. So we'll see what happens. All right. 2 more. Colts. Your team sucks. The last team, God, like you said, did we want to try and get you out of this tier?
You're so close.
The problem is, I feel like every time news breaks, it's broken against this team.
Yeah.
With the exception of J.J. McCarthy. Like, all right, Najee Harris has been signed. He's going to be the lead back in Los Angeles. And they just drafted Omar Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like I said in the draft pod, they handed the ball out 530 times last year, so there's going to be plenty for people to go around. But yeah. Marv, great piece to build around. I like Trey Palmer, but he's
buried. He's toast now.
Under 50 feet of dirt. Everything else ain't ready.
Yeah. I mean, the defense is better than it's been in a long time. But man, his contracts don't last for very long. JOK may never play again.
Yep.
Man, it's rough. Like he's right there. He's right there. And he may have to do like the big bad move of like next year he's got to trade JJ and Marv and like sell the studs into like multiple asset moves. But I don't know that he'll do that. But because more than enough owners try to take advantage of that team. And it doesn't help anything. It doesn't keep the build going. It always tears it back down. But I am hoping for the best for him because I think that his growth is awesome.
Sounds good to me. All right. Those are the teams that really don't give a shit about winning this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because whatever sheet we're using really doesn't like counting properly. We've got, I think, 11 teams saying it's not your year. We have no teams at the next tier above that. I mean, I don't even know what that is. It'd be number 4, but I don't know what's on 4. So we're going to skip that.
Okay.
We have, I think, another 10 potential playoff teams here. We'll start with the top. The Buccaneers. Like I said, I admire a team who has the opportunity to take their team's quarterback on their favorite dynasty team and manage the highs and lows of owning that player. So going in and getting Cam Ward, worth it. Problem is, and effectively he's done, is he's sold for a bit of a reboot rather than a before we do.
Sure. You don't like that plan.
I mean, that just means he's on the potential team fringe, I'd say. But again, I think that about everybody right now in the NFC South.
Yeah, the NFC South is a weird one. Like, I mean, shit, the Panthers made the Super Bowl without a quarterback. Like, I don't understand how any of it happens in that division.
It's a good question, as far as I'm concerned, too.
So, I think it's going to flip around. But the teams that are obviously like ready to go are the Panthers and the Bucks. Kinda, but like you could say that about any of them, Like I think the Falcons are solid. Things break right. I think the Falcons are solid. They might be like, a little too low in depth at a lot of offensive positions, but even so, like things break right. They break right.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. Panthers.
Skip.
All due respect, I feel like he does this every year, James, where he acquires what he needs to go get his guys in the draft. And when it's time to talk about those guys, I give James full credit. He knows the shit out of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was a guy I got for this reason. This is what he's doing. Da, 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 da. Bam. Implemented, which is great because that shows that it's working how it's supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
But he has some big hits on some big swings. Then there's a lot of just get him off my team.
Yeah, it's very hit and miss. I don't know why. I genuinely don't understand why he's trying to sell Tua at all. But I like the team. Like I like the team. Like he hit big on Braden Fisk and on Jared Verse last year. And those will be probably franchise staples for him for a couple of years, if not forever, depending on how invested he gets in it. But man, this team goes round and round more than I do.
You take that back. That's certainly not true. Steelers. Here? Okay.
On the fence? Or potential playoff team. Yeah, I mean, because at some point something's got to break for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like at some point, like you can't just keep getting the shit sandwich fed to him. But no, I think it's a good team. I do. I don't like Trevor Lawrence as in particular, but guy scores points, can't knock it.
Yeah, that team's going to have a 5-3 start or something like it. And we're all going to look up and say, did we underestimate these guys? And the answer is going to be yes, but we'll be too enthralled in, 2 targets from now.
Right. Right.
All right. I don't know how you put the Raiders up here, so defend yourself.
Yep. So the Raiders are the second best team in the West. They have Lamar. They have a fair enough running back group. I think that their wide receivers are fine, and I think that it's just going to be a situation where that defense is going to carry them to a lot of W's, and eventually, whether in the beginning, middle, or end of the season, eventually he's going to hold the keys over Goose with the quarterback situation, and he's not going to give him up. He's going to hold on to Rattler, while he's starting, and we'll see how that works out. Like honestly, what Raiders needs to hope for is that Spencer Rattler starts the season and gets him through the doubleheader weeks.
That's true. Yeah, he's got Lamar and he's got Spencer. I understand everyone loves Cam Scatterbo.
Oh, I wasn't even worried about that. I think his offense is totally fine. It's very mid, but it's totally fine. His defense is excellent.
Yep.
Like it's excellent. Like he's gonna have no issues keeping up with teams. Bye weeks may play an issue more than anything, but that's what that's what everybody has to deal with. But yeah, I think that he's got a great shot at taking the division, depending on how that quarterback situation falls, and and maybe even making like a 7 seed.
Yeah, I don't see it. He's got Spencer. He's got Lamar. He ain't got much else. All right. Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been a 2 before the trade. He's a 3 now. We need to let him build himself back up. But
I think Falcons will be fine. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, technically, he's probably going to struggle to get a full offensive roster every now and again. But I mean, whenever he's got everybody playing, that's not terrible. You just got to figure out who your tight end is. But yeah, I like the team. I do. The defense is old in a lot of areas, but if it goes well, it's going to be great.
it's a whole lot of ifs.
Of course. But the one guarantee is he has Jaden Daniels, and that's a great piece to build off of. That's not that alone is not going to win him games, but it's not. He's not in a bad spot. I think that he's got a pretty solid shot here.
All right, back to back. Jags and Texans, both 3s.
The Jags is going to miss, and Texans is going to make it. Texans has done too much work this offseason to build that roster into a competitor, and he is paid to do it. Whenever he paid to get rid of Daniel Jones to make those extensions work. Jags, I mean, his wide receiver room is dead because he doesn't do enough to make himself active. Patrick Mahomes is great. Is Josh Jacobs really going to repeat? I doubt it. Where's his tight end? Where's his defensive kings? Yeah, Jags is going to miss.
Well, we'll see. Not sure about that.
Fair enough.
I think Jags, I would have done some different picks in him. But at the end of the day, he's got a ton of pieces that score points. They're all on offense, and we talked about really it's more of those defensive players. Or to just let things develop around them and observe and learn.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lions.
Lions. It's so weird to say this. I wish he would tear down Josh Allen.
I mean, as somebody who had him, the trade market for Josh Allen was kind of one of one.
That's fair.
That said, if I could find a way, I would obviously take Josh Allen.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's just tough because like, what is he gonna do? Rely on Kareem Hunt again? I mean, he's got fine receivers. We know that. But man, it's like this team feels so boom bust on a week-to-week basis. It's hard to trust it. It's not a team that I would want to go into the season with. It's like a guaranteed 115, 116 range ending spot, and Josh Allen is such a nice asset, but man, that is not the right piece for this team right now. Like, I don't say this as like a come to me kind of thing and like do this deal. I think that he'd be better served trading away Josh Allen for multiple assets and taking what is it, like I think it's half of that 55,000 and just rolling out with Daniel Jones. You go buy Anthony Richardson too, just to make sure you have the team, but like you're better served doing that and then allocating your assets elsewhere to build that team into a competitor, because your division is not easy. Mike's rebuilt. Jeremy's always, staying in contention. You got to make a move to get out of third, man.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think look, his opportunity to make the jump was converting some of these picks that he had into players instead of making the picks. He's got a really interesting approach to sort of running back by committee. Maybe that works for him, but I think there was a more effective way to use his draft capital.
Yeah, that's okay. He learns quickly. That's the good thing.
All right, so we're going to do two more, and then I'm going to cut it for this week because I've had 6 hours of sleep in the last 2 nights, and I've just gone from wired to about to fall asleep on the podcast in the last 10 minutes. So
cool.
We're going to do these last two teams, and then we'll pick it up again next week as we talk contenders.
Okay. So
we're in the NFC West. One team we've talked about competing with the Seahawks in the division. The other team is the Cardinals. You talk about teams who had a really good draft. I think the Cardinals had a really good draft.
Cardinals crushed it. Yeah,
the Rams have a lot of really interesting players that I think survived well from the draft. I think both these teams, you squint, they could make life harder for the Seahawks, but not by much.
I think it's more they're going to be battling for second place if the Niners don't find a quarterback. I feel like they're going to be battling for second place between each other and one of the wild card spots. But man, they are so like just like on paper, they look so dead even to each other. Like I would probably take Cardinals still.
Yeah, long term you would, but as we switch to a redraft valuation, the Rams become very interesting very quickly.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, and like, man, I want to trust CMC to stay healthy. I want to trust it, and I think he could, but I don't know. The Rams are asking a lot out of some old people.
There was an image of him jogging to the line and then making a light cut during this last check-in. So we'll see.
Hey, I'm not going to bash it if he stays healthy. I love watching him. But I mean, God, the Rams he has so many old players. Many old guys, which isn't bad necessarily, but man, you got to take advantage of your window. If you're going to roll out with Geno and Stafford, you got to take advantage of this window. That's going to be fun. That division is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you jumping on with me. I'm sorry to cut it short, but I don't want to fall asleep on the podcast, and I am falling asleep on the podcast. So
No problem.
what we're going to do is we made it 45 minutes. We'll talk about the playoff teams and contenders next week. If anyone wants to come in and add their rankings to things, they're more than welcome to. If we repeat a few people or miss a few people, I apologize in advance. Sometimes shit happens. But we got you a podcast this week. You can't be too upset.
That's right.
But thank you, Bill, for coming back and joining us this week. Hopefully you can make it again the next time we're kicking this off. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Sounds good.